All right, it's a stock market review video. It's the end of the week. It's Friday, November 5th. It's been a very eventful week for the stock market. I haven't done a video all week, tied up with other things, but it is time to go over it today because boy, is there a good amount to talk about. So Moderna, my favorite stock in the world. What happened? They were down, oh my God, they were down like 18% on Thursday and another 16, almost 17% on Friday today. They are down to 236 after being up at 345 like 72 hours ago, right? It's even further down today. So what happened here, right? Well, it looks like a cascading effect of people who just do not understand science getting out of them because their earnings were okay. They released earnings on Thursday. They were within the range, and they started talking about reduced revenue potential and difficulty producing all of the vaccine because the way that they do it is an extremely tedious process to get all the mRNA lined up and to manufacture it in that fashion. So that coupled with, I think there's almost it's kind of like vaccine exhaustion, right? We hear about anti-vaxxers that are, getting all up, panties all up in a wad about needing to be vaccinated to go to school, to work, or whatever it is. And people are fighting it, personal choice, and the resistance is a bit stronger than even I thought. So when something like this comes out and they don't blow away earnings, they don't blow, way past or above the estimate, and they talk about potential supply difficulties in creating it. First of all, they're geniuses at work at this company. They will eventually figure that out. And what no one is even thinking about right now, because I feel like this is a COVID-related, SARS-CoV-2 type vaccine-related response to what's going on, is all that exhaustion. They're not thinking about all the other vaccines that they're going to be making for different viruses and other ways that they're going to target disease. So I talk about just an overreaction. I mean, anything moving 17% a day. BioNTech does too. Like, they're moving in tandem. They're just getting slammed. And all that I can think about is, oh my God, how cheap is this right now? Like, when this dust settles, we'll see what happens on Monday. But people will have the weekend to think about this, and then they'll remember that the reason we're getting back to work is because of vaccines. You kind of put your hands up in the air at a certain point and think to yourself, is the entire world retarded? Like, how does everyone not see this? And the answer is, not everybody does see it. And that's why it's such an opportunity. So this is manna from heaven to see them drop like this. So let's talk about where they're going to go from here and how low can they go. I guess they can possibly go all the way down to 200 at the beginning of the week, maybe. But man, is there going to be a snapback, because once all these shorts get out of here, there's like 4% people invest in Moderna are shorting them. They're going to get scared when they start to turn on one of these days, and they do a $10 or $20 jump in 5 minutes, which is what's going to happen as soon as everyone gets back in. Remember, this company's on the S&P 500, so there are structured purchases that have to be made by companies that have to balance their portfolio in a similar manner to the way the S&P 500 is structured. So there is certainly going to be a snapback. I'm hesitant to say buy it immediately right now. I'm going to wait till Monday or Tuesday just to make sure that we don't have another one of these 10% or more dropping days as all the shorts just finally clear in here. But the shorting of Moderna is going to stop because they just ran from, they were at 475 a month and a half ago all the way down to 230. Did this company lose half of its market cap? Are they now only worth 95 billion? Apparently, well, I said they're going to be $1 trillion company within 2 years, and I said that back in like July or August. So I'm not changing that statement at all. So they've got 10x to grow in the next, call it 18 or 19 months, 20 months, and just watch it. It plus, you forget, all the kids are going to be vaccinated now. Pfizer and Moderna both, BioNTech and Moderna both having the vaccine, I think is going to be the best for the kids. And it just watch. So talk about cheap. I mean, they are cheap. BioNTech similarly, but Moderna is my favorite, so they're on there. So we can I mean, where do you buy them now? I mean, definitely. You see them under 250. Let's lower this number down to something reasonable and more short term than just a 3 or 5 month outlook. Let's bring it down and say if you see them under 250, I don't know how you can't buy them. BioNTech, if you see them under 250, how can you not have them, right? So that restructures ourselves a little bit here, but I mean, actually, they're 225 really because they're you're going to see these companies go above them by the middle of next week. There's almost no way they can't after a drop like this today. Canadian Solar up and down, higher short interest. You'll see them in the low 40s. You catch them below 39 like they are right now. They also had a rough day on Friday. Google, look at them etching themselves up to 3,000. They have more staying power. We'll leave them at 3,000 for now because they're teetering. We'll see what they do next week. Abbott Labs right there where we put it. Chipotle right there where we put it. I put these numbers up like a week ago, and look at how they're right there where they're at. And these companies were not at these numbers a week ago. Let's see here. Tesla. Oh, goodness gracious. Tesla. So Tesla is one of the companies that if you've watched the videos from a year ago and really they were my favorite company before Moderna, and so they're still basically one of my favorite companies. They have just exceeded everything. I mean, this is one of those where a host of good news comes together, and you got the Tesla Semi, and it's people just starting to see, like I said, the Tom Brady doing the commercial for Hertz with all the Teslas in the Hertz airport parking lot. I feel like Tom Brady doesn't lose. And he jumped on that train and did that ad, and I was like, oh my God, all these people that are thinking that electric cars are for pussies and think that electric cars are not muscle and think that electric cars, I've told stories about people and how they feel about electric cars, friends of mine, that once you start seeing Tom Brady in a Hertz commercial at halftime, all of a sudden you got to be like, well, is Brady really charge up his heart with a 220 volt in the middle of the day? The answer is no, he doesn't charge up his heart that we know of, but he has made it okay for every dumb redneck to understand that electric is the future. And that's also going to take a while, but you're seeing this all happen here in the last few weeks. I mean, all the money you lost on Moderna, buying options on Moderna, if you had an option in Tesla, you made like $30,000 on every Tesla option in the last 14 days. It almost doesn't matter what strike price it was at. It's out of control. They just went from 800 to 1,200, and they're not stopping. So, well, when are they going to stop? There just has to be a pullback with a sharp increase like that. This is not a shape found in nature here, this upswing that they've had. This is not, I mean, you can't climb a mountain like that. You're going to fall off eventually. So I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how far low it's going to go. I think it can go down to about 1,000. But there'd have to be some terrible news accompanying that, because right now, like, everyone's just like, let it ride. Like, people aren't selling because they're like, are they just going to go up $100 a share tomorrow? Like, I'm not selling. I'm going to hang out. So that has a chance to stick around like that until the holidays, until people have to start worrying about taxes that they got to pay for the upcoming year and into next year. So I'm second guessing whether or not they really are going to drop. I thought they were going to drop to 1,000 when they got to 1,100, and look at me, like, color me stupid because they just keep going up. So, and they're always a long-term great company to purchase because they have the best engineers and they are changing the world for the better, and they're doing it in the smartest way possible. So in that sense, that's a call that we made a long time ago that you're just starting to see. What you're seeing happen with Tesla will happen with Moderna. Very, very similar type companies, actually, because they both have a products that are life-changing, and they can diversify to push them out into different ways. Like when you're using alternative energy like Tesla is, however you do it with batteries and solar, it becomes a benefit for everyone. When you're curing disease or vaccinating against disease and priming your immune system against disease, there's all types of diseases. It's not just COVID. It's cancers. It's just genetic diseases. You're talking about at the molecular level, programming the solution to these things the way you want to do it. It's fascinating. So what else we got down here? Sherwin Williams, old tried and true. Sherwin Williams, I think they were up 320, 330 almost, down 315. That's okay. They're still a little more expensive. We will go get some more food in a minute. Walmart up to 150, just like we said. Let's bring them up a little bit. I'll go 149. Maybe they might drop $1. They're not a huge mover. What else do we have? Microsoft hanging out at 336. You guys are going to make me change this to 325. Man, unstoppable Microsoft. Missed the boat on that one too. Intuitive Surgical at 364. Hospitals, especially in major cities, are handling COVID well because so many people are vaccinated in the bigger cities. That's why the hospitals aren't having as much trouble as the smaller towns. It's not just that your Alaskas and your Idahos have fewer medical professionals and fewer services. It's that the percentage of the population that's unvaccinated is much higher, and they are coming in sicker and overwhelming those hospitals. So Intuitive Surgical is working better. They're a robotic surgery company. They're working better in the bigger cities that have more of these resources because the vaccination rates are generally higher. Anything else we want to talk about? Well, I can't say no to Moderna next week. Keep an eye on that. Tesla, let's just keep watching, I guess. If you feel like buying them and you have a longer time horizon, you're always going to be in good shape. If you have a shorter time horizon, I can't see them continuing to accrete like this every day. It's just bonkers. But there's a lot of money in the system. That's kind of what happens. So anyway, that's your stock market update for the week. We'll be back next week talking more stocks. Oh yeah, I'll finish with this. So I closed my TD Ameritrade account. Right? I pulled all my money out. I will be closing it finally next week when everything's done. And I closed my TD Ameritrade account because I found out that TD Ameritrade, without my authorization, made a trade to close out one of my Moderna options last week, and did not warn me that they were doing this. They just pointed me to terms of service and stuff. It was in the money, and it was like 10 or 15 minutes left in the day, and they just sold the option for the market rate, and I opened up my account and the thing was sold, and I was like, what? I was like, did I butt trade this thing? Did I accidentally touch a button? I didn't accidentally touch a button. They just did this for me. And I didn't realize that when you hold options close to the end of the day, when they're expiring that day, and you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in your account to cover if you have to convert those options, that TD Ameritrade and some other brokerage firms as well will actually just override your account and manhandle your account and make that trade without even telling you. That cost me some money. And I contacted them and I said, listen, I didn't know you could even do this. I feel like I deserve some compensation because you made a trade, and I would have made a trade that would have made me more money. You didn't tell me I was going to do this. They said, no, it's a terms of service. Nope. Learn how to read. Don't be stupid. It's your fault. You should have known. So I questioned them and I said, listen, I made a purchase of an option that expired within 15 minutes. I bought an option back in August of last year on Tesla. I paid $1,000 for the option and it expired in 15 minutes. According to their policy, they should not have allowed me to make that trade because the risk is too high.
Really?
Yes, that's true. That's my opinion. So I pointed that out to them, and I said, listen, if your policy is consistent, then if you're going to make trades and sell my stuff because it's too risky for me to own it, well, then you got to reject a trade that's clearly within 15 minutes of the day ending, and it's close to the money. The option's close to the money. And they didn't see it that way. They said no. And so I said, well, I'm not working with you anymore. And anybody who watches these videos and wants my advice about which brokerage firm to use, I would say do not use TD Ameritrade because they're just going to make trades on your behalf and not tell you, because that's what they did to me. So I moved to E-Trade, and I'll tell you how it goes with E-Trade, and I'll give you an honest review of E-Trade, and that's the new brokerage firm that I am using. So bye-bye TD Ameritrade. All right, good luck, everyone. May all your trades be winning.